Hello, I'm Nupur Kumar, Managing Partner at Fact Professional. And as you know, President Biden signed a 1.9 trillion stimulus package into effect this week. A large portion of that funding is going directly to citizens in the form of $1,400 stimulus checks. I know everybody's excited about their stimulus checks. We know you have a lot of questions about how and when you'll receive these funds, so let's just jump right into it. Besides stimulus checks, there's also going to be a lot of other changes that came up. This is, as expected, going to be a very interesting and exciting tax year. But the first thing is stimulus checks. How much will I receive? The IRS will be using your most recent tax returns to determine your stimulus check eligibility. This means that if you already filed your return, they're going to be using your 2020 return. If you haven't filed it, they'll be using your 2019 return. So eligible people should be receiving the full $1,400 payment plus an additional $1,400 per dependent. This is separate from the amounts that were received in the first and the second rounds, and those two rounds can still be claimed under the recovery rebate credit under the 2020 tax return. This one will most likely be not eligible or included in 2020. So if you don't receive it, you will still have to go through the same kind of roundabout situation that you had to go through last year. So who's eligible? Individuals who are earning less than $75,000 in their adjusted gross income are eligible. Married filing joint couples who earn less than $150,000 under their AGI, and head of household who earned up to $112,500 under their AGI are considered eligible. If you, the checks will be reduced for incomes that go above these thresholds. There will be a very hard cutoff point when certain incomes are reached. So if you go a little bit above the 75K, if you're individual, then you may not completely become ineligible. And then this is regardless of how many dependents live in the household. Those who are ineligible will be individuals who earn more than $80,000 AGI a year, married filing joint couples who earn more than 160,000, and head of household who earn more than 120,000 AGI. So keep in mind, if you're within that range, you may receive a portion, but not the full amount, as you may have received for prior stimulus checks. If you're under, fantastic, you should be receiving the entire amount within the next few days. Now, the big question is, as I just said, within the next few days, when can I expect my check? Some people in the country will start seeing direct deposits in their bank accounts literally this weekend. And payments to eligible Americans will continue throughout the course of the next several weeks. It is possible that tax filing season, which is currently underway, may slow down this process. Again, this is the IRS, the government, all of them have to have a lot of communication. And while they're filing these stimulus checks and their refunds, there may be a little bit of a delay. So just keep this in mind. If you don't get it this weekend, all is not lost. Wait it out. If you don't find it, they will be receiving additional ways for you to find this information. So how will you be receiving the stimulus check? Those whose bank account information is already on file will most likely be getting this money first, because they're going to be using the same direct deposit system they use for your refunds. Others may be receiving paper checks or prepaid debit cards. We found that they use prepaid debit cards in the second stimulus check, so they may be using the same thing in the third stimulus check. Big question that I've been getting from a lot of clients is this income taxable? So while we've been filing tax returns, we've been asking, hey, did you receive stimulus check one? Did you receive stimulus check two? How much did you receive? So just like the first round and the second round, this amount is not considered taxable. When your tax preparer is asking you this information, they're only asking the information to verify how much you received and make sure that they account for the amount you were supposed to receive. That way, no money is left on the table. So in the same way, stimulus check three, this is not taxable. Your tax preparer is, as I said, only asking to make sure that you can claim the difference. Don't worry, it will not be considered taxable income. Now, obviously, this is not considered taxable income. One thing that was a big shocker for a lot of Americans this season was unemployment benefits. So let's jump into unemployment benefits and what's going to be going on, and then whether unemployment benefits will still be considered taxable. So Unemployment benefits and food stamps. The stimulus bill that was released by President Biden, states that it's going to continue the existing $300 weekly for federal jobless as a boost. And they're going to have a few more unemployment programs that are going to continue through September 6th. If President Biden signs the bill soon and there are no additional program requirements in the bill, we should be able to implement the extensions without any interruption in payment. Food stamps recipients would continue to get a 15% increase in benefits, but the boost would last through September instead of expiring at the end of June under the legislation. So they should not see any break in benefits. Now, the next question here is my unemployment income taxable? This is something else that was pretty significant that was released. I wish we had held off and waited for those 1040 returns to be filed, because usually unemployment is considered taxable income. As I said, this was a big shock for a lot of Americans while they were filing this year. Even if they had withheld certain amounts of tax returns, it doesn't mean that that amount was not considered taxable. However, this is a unique situation, just like 2020 and 2021 have been, where as of now, up to $10,200 is no longer going to be considered taxable income for those who earn up to $150,000 for 2020. Now, if you already filed your 2020 tax return, don't worry. You can still file your amendment. In most situations, you are now allowed to file your amendment electronically under the federal return. Now, if you have your tax return prepped and we're still waiting, a lot of our returns are still on draft stage. We did hold off and wait quite a bit this year because we were waiting for a lot of additional regulations to come out. So we are still waiting for the IRS guidelines on how to handle this current situation. As I said, for those who already filed, we're going to have a lot of exciting amendments and be waiting for the difference to come back for whatever you already paid out. For those who haven't filed yet, we're going to be making adjustments to remove that taxable amount of $10,200. One of the other big significant changes that came up under taxes was childcare benefits. So families are not expected to see a boost in the child tax credit until the summer at the earliest. The relief package calls for increasing the credit to $3,000 for each child younger than 6 and to $3,000 for each child between 6 and 17 in 2021 for qualifying families. As of now, the child tax credit is $2,000 for those who have children who are 17 and under, but this will be changing. But just keep in mind that once we announce something to be released tax-wise, doesn't mean that it'll be changed in the now. It usually means that significant changes will come about for the next tax year. The credit would also become fully refundable for the year and may be paid out monthly rather than at a lump sum time when you're actually filing your taxes. So keep in mind, there's a lot of big changes. We're trying to stay up to date with those. Families could receive half of their total credit as a periodic payment starting in July and running through the rest of the year, according to the legislation. They could then claim the remaining half of on their 2020 return. So just keep this in mind, is that, again, we're going to have quite a few changes. If you do have a child and you're trying to claim the additional child tax credit and the difference, stand by. We're waiting for them to release additional information. The government should be releasing this as soon as possible. And we're here to help with any other changes or tax questions that you have. That's all that we have on individual stimulus packages and everything that's been released in this exciting week. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to stay up to date on all the latest developments, make sure to hit the subscribe button below and stay tuned for more information on how the bill will affect businesses and industries. We'll see you soon. And we also have an exciting podcast if you'd like to listen in. It will be included in the link below as well. Let us know if you have any other tax questions at info@factprofessional.com. See you later. Bye-bye.